Sorry, recording has started. 13 people has joined. Can we wait for 1 or 2 more minutes for the others to join, or shall we start now?
Yeah, I think we'll wait for 2 more minutes so that because
Yes,
just
sir.
we opened it.
Yes, yes. Yes, Shubhrata, do you want to say something? Shubhrata, you have raised your hand. Hello. I think it's a technical. Anyway, almost 15 people have joined, so I think we may start now.
Okay.
Good evening again, everyone. I'm Rusha, an EC member of CFSR. So you already have know that we have gathered today here to commemorate the life and works of our beloved folklorist, eminent pioneer, Professor Jawaharlal Handoo, who has been one of the backbones of our organization, Center for Folklore Studies and Research. So, well, before starting, I want to say something about Professor Handoo, uh, for whom we have gathered here. Born on July the 1st, 1941 in Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir, Professor Handoo pursued his higher education in his home state and earned a PhD from Kurukshetra University. He has served as a senior fellow at the University Grants Commission before starting his professional journey as a lecturer in Kashmiri at the Northern Regional Language Center in Patiala as a part of the Central Institute of Indian Languages. In 1972, he was appointed the head of the folklore unit at CIIL, where he played a crucial role in promoting the folkloristic studies and elevating the institute to a global recognition as a hub for advanced folklore research. As a prolific folklorist, Dr. Handoo authored over 20 significant books, including Folklore and Introduction, theoretical essays in Indian folklore, Folklore in Modern India, Folktales of India, Folklore in the Changing World, the epic oral and written, and current trends in folklore. Besides this, he has always been a backbone of IFS, Indian Folklore Congress, and he has been the vice president of IFS from 1986 and vice president of the International Society for Folk Narrative Research from 1995. He was a full member of the Folklore Fellows Finland since 1990, and besides this, Dr. Handoo was instrumental in bringing the 11th ISFNR Congress to India for the first time in 1995, a landmark event co-hosted by CIIL Mysore and ISFNR. So he has always been a pioneer in the promotion of folklore studies and culture studies in both academic and non-academic arena in India. So among all his books, those who have pursued folklore and culture studies academically in India, most of us have read some of his books as text during our MA courses. Like in our IGNU, when I was a student of MA in Folklore and Culture Studies, we have already studied books like the Epic, Oral and Written, Current Trends in Folklore, and Folklore and Introduction. These three were our kind of textbooks. So figure like him has always been the backbone of culture studies in India. His departure, though all person as a stature like him, his departures has always regard untimely whenever he may depart. But it is a great loss in the field of culture and folklore and culture studies. So I request Jolly sir to start officially, formally start this session with his speech.
Thank you, Rusha. Thank you, all of you people joined. Uh, I was never a student of Professor Handoo directly, but I had a wonderful opportunity to sit in his presentations and classes for 3-4 times. Presentations, many, because he used to be a visitor for Center for Folklore Studies in the initial days of its inception. Interestingly, during the early days of my pre-university, I have seen one afternoon a UGC program in my house. In that program, I have seen Handoo, A.K. Ramanujam, and Velichetti. These three professors are talking about something called folklore. That is the first time I heard about, I heard the term folklore. I have no idea about such a term. So it was that particular memory is still, acerbic. It's still very much close to my heart. I am hearing that entire talk, basically, led by A.K. Ramanujam, and that has really influenced me. Later, when I have seen the folklore, the book written by Professor Raghavan Payanar in Malayalam, that was one of the next idea of seeing. Then I realized Professor Raghavan Payanar was a student of Handoo for a long time. He did his PhD. He completed his MA. He worked with him for a long time, and that might have shaped Professor Raghavan Payanar into, yielding a large amount of quantity of work in Kerala with regards to the folklore. So Handoo's absence but in presence has definitely helped. In that case, he has, we can simply say he was one of the folklore's Indian ambassador for the world. He has represented Indian folklore all over the world. He wrote more than 50, 60 papers, and his own books. The statistics Rusha has already said were part of our textbooks, and especially we still use many of the material from his theoretical folklore, his own essays on motifs and folk tales, etc., in our own classrooms. And Indian Folkloristics always has indebted to Handoo. Major remembrance of Handoo in the initial days when I was a student was not about the subject. More than that, in the classes, he used to use quite a lot of vulgar jokes. As a young student or as a young scholar, instead of the class, we just carried away with that kind of a joke. But truly, I came back and I looked at his class because of his capacity to yield his language, his own experiences with amassing the data of Indian folklore, his own work in teaching Indian folklore at different levels. He was a regular visitor to Finland Folklore Fellows. He was a part of ISFNR team. He was an editorial board of many of the journals, even Pilk and etc. So his work on Indian folklore is commendable work. One cannot forget. So this is my simple tribute to Jawaharlal Handoo. I'm sure that people who are participating in this condolence meeting will have more warm memories and associations, especially with the Indian Folklore Congress and other things, and with the students. So it is a big loss for Indian folklore, but always his works will be remembered and his services will be remembered as a torchbearer for the Indian folklore. He will be always remembered. This is my humble words. And Rusha, you can hand over the mics to you.
Thank you, sir, for such a enriched sharing of your memory regarding our dearest Dr. Handoo. Satyanath sir is here. I think we may move to Satyanath sir. He has been physically has been shared many session and instances with Dr. Handoo, and his association with Dr. Handoo has always been more close than any of us. So I think Satyanath sir may please say something now. Nandini ma'am too has joined.
Yes, namaskar everyone.
Namaskar ma'am.
Good evening to everyone. We are 24 at this moment. Looking into the achievements of Professor Handoo, I'm slightly disappointed by the number. The only assurance is I see a lot of younger faces. Just about a few days back, we had a condolence meeting of the FOSIPs, the South Indian group. We were about 17, and Professor Puthussery was also there. And the average age of FOSIPs is 60 plus on that day. So I believe this 24 and a lot of young faces is actually a good sign of what Professor Handoo left behind. I would like to look at Handoo from 3 points of view, and I would read. The first thing is, um, a, sometime back when I put the note on my Facebook, Professor Amritjit Singh from Iowa wrote a note that when he was doing his PhD, oh, Desmond is here. It's nice, Our old friends are joining one after slowly. Professor Amritjit Singh told me when he was doing his PhD in English at the Kurukshetra University, Handoo was doing his PhD in the Hindi department. And I think this is something remarkable about Handoo, that a person who did a PhD in one of the vernacular languages of India, to put the phrase properly, not Department of English, was able to achieve so much in a discipline of folklore and was able to vitalize and stir folklore studies on the Indian sea. I think we need to remember him for his achievements. I'm not going to go into detail. The second thing that Professor Handoo did was to provide a national level platform to folklore. This happened particularly after he joined Central Institute of Indian Languages. I actually slide between comparative literature, folklore studies, and linguistics, although I haven't done much work in linguistics. And Central Institute of Indian Languages used to provide lots of opportunities, in the initial stages for me to go with my linguistics work. And that was the occasion on which I met him. I knew him ever since I was a student in Bangalore University, but there was a distance. But CIA provided an opportunity for me to sit and talk with him. Particularly towards 1980, there was a 15-day workshop or conference, something like that, where anthropologists and linguists met and discussed for 15 days, reading various papers. The Anthropological Survey of India's office from Mysore and the CIL, they took part, and that's a wonderful learning experience. And it is at that time that I met with him. There was a hiatus in between because I moved to Delhi, and travel before 2000 was not really all that easy. But 2000 marked a significant difference because the funds were available and we were able to move faster. Air travel became much easier. It is at that time that I get my links established with him, and he liked me. The earliest was actually 2005, Calicut. Raghavan Payanand, his student, organized a seminar. These are a series of annual conferences of the Indian Folklore Congress. That was one of the most important things that Handoo did. He took it to different parts of India. Then brought younger folklore researchers onto its platform. I still remember when one of my students read the paper in 2012 Mysore conference. She was from Jammu, and she wrote a paper on Bhartrahari's narrative somewhere in about 50 kilometers from near Sariska. There is a Bhartrahari center. She looked into that narrative and did an analysis of it. This is ये हमारा लड़की है, थोड़ा अच्छी तरह से उसको patronage करना. This is where he was a national and international scholar, but his roots to Jammu and Kashmir and the roots that he had lost for political reasons were always used to haunt him. Maybe towards the end I will go on, tell you a very personal thing. What you see the last one was 43 at Mysore, which never took place. 42 was Midnapur, 41 Manipur, East, Northeast. And before that, 40 is Mumbai, 39 is Anand, 2000, that time Rajkot. So, Western India. So, what he was, I mean, although I have not done a very systematic analysis, is, because I attended most of these things, he systematically tried to connect between Indian Folklore Congress and different parts of India. Subsequently, after he retired, he went to several of these places as visiting professor. And by nature, Handoo is not a man who compromises things. So probably wherever he went, he had a difference of opinion. He fought, he had bitter experiences about that. So this is the second. And with this came the journal, which actually pooled the research that was done, the research papers that were read at the Indian Folklore Congress into the journal. This activity is something very. Apart from that, he had also some international links. I'm not going to go about that because his bio notes that have been put on the social network, clearly says that. But I will, he had very close contact with Bangladesh group. I had sent a note to actually invite Professor Suman Khan. They were very good friends. I knew it very personally because I had spent one such international seminars that Bangladesh arranged. I was present there. I'll come to that towards there. So this is I don't think even a formally trained folklorist anywhere in India would have done this much of work to Indian folklore. So we must remember him and probably acknowledge his contribution to Indian folklore, and maybe put it into some format. So I actually propose we should hold a seminar remembering Handoo or something like that. I think I will end with one or two personal, memories. One of them is he would not compromise, hence he would also and a bit aggressive, and would end up with disagreements, bad feelings. Two such things which chanted him, which actually hurt me, was actually the fact that he couldn't go back to Kashmir. He always used to talk about that whenever he's a bit in an excited mood. Excited means after a couple of drinks, he would normally talk about his personal things. This was one thing, and would say to his these children when they come from United States. He was talking about his children. They don't want rajma. They don't want Kashmiri cuisine. They want idli, dosa. So, that was one thing. And so, see, the loss that he suffered, that used to haunt him on several. And despite he worked on the entire folklore of India, that's totally a different issue. There was something very close to his heart, which would surface on occasion. The second thing is he had lost one of his sons while the son was sleeping. His pulse went down. It used to go down. The family didn't notice. And these are the two. On several occasions he has talked to me about this thing, and virtually has cried. I have never seen. I've seen him fiercely fighting about the subject and other thing, but I had never seen him crying. And these are the two occasions which actually I cannot erase it from my memory. he would disagree with several things. We would fight, but we would also have wonderful time. Once I just mentioned one such thing. He's a trained structuralist, so he's a strong supporter of structuralism. And folklore is deeply rooted into structuralism, and it was when other disciplines were easily coming out of that to social epistemology. Folklore somehow firmly stuck to formalism and structuralism. Sometime around 2014 or 15, I think, there is a group called the Rajasthan English Association or something, the RACE they call it. They organized a seminar on folklore and English studies. Professor Nandini Sahu was supposed to give the keynote address. She probably couldn't go, so she might have suggested to them my name, and they called me. And Professor Amritjit Singh was the chief guest for that. So I read a paper on the problematics of structuralism and folklore, and the need to bring in social epistemology into it. Handoo was not there. And the response was very good. Encouraged by that, in 2016, when Handoo asked me to pitch in for someone who was supposed to come but couldn't come, and so he said a month before, this is the folklore workshop at third folklore workshop at Dhaka, which Bangladesh Folklore Society was organizing. And I said I will pitch in. I gave 3 talks, and one of the talks was this. He was extremely unhappy and said, "You shouldn't have done this. I even asked Shamsuddin Khan to stop you from speaking this." But I said, if I don't do this, I will be doing a great injustice. So, this discussion, Professor Shamsuddin Khan didn't say anything. But it continued in the night. And it was I was trying to say, if we don't interrogate the discipline of folklore and its methodology, we would be doing a great injustice to the discipline. And it is the next generation of scholars who has to pick this up and bring more and more of social epistemology into folklore. Anyhow, that did resolve, but that did not destroy our personal relationship. He has lost his personal relationship with several people, I know that, but this was something great. We never talked our personal thing. Most of our discussions were academic and on folklore and other disciplines. But if you look at the titles of the Indian Folklore Congress titles, you will notice that slowly social epistemology had come much before I talked about that. It is the pain of the ordinary. So, he was doing it, but theoretically and methodologically, if someone wants to push it, he was feeling uncomfortable, or probably he felt my onslaught on structuralism was much more uncalled for at that particular point of time. Anyhow, so that's it. So here, it's a wonderful gem of a person, a scholar who brought folklore, who brought a status to Indian folklore. There are others too. I'm not saying, Professor Ramanujan is there, and I'm equally fond of them. But he was able to build up a team and vitalize folklore studies on the Indian scene. I'm not young anymore. There are lots of young scholars. We need to take it in a direction that probably he would have appreciated. He always admired when young scholars presented very good papers. So with these notes, I thank you people for giving me an opportunity, and also an opportunity to remember we should do something very solid in the name of Handoo. And probably, initially I suggest a sort of a remembering Handoo sort of a seminar or a conference or something, but it should continue so that we keep remembering him. Probably every year in our conferences. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Satyanath sir. You are very right, absolutely right, that we should continue some initiatives to make our Professor Handoo eternal in our field. So now I move to Nandini ma'am, Professor Nandini Sahu, Vice Chancellor, Hindi University, West Bengal, and Professor of English, IGNOU, New Delhi. Ma'am, I know you have long been associated with Dr. Handoo, and we, as students of yours during our MA in Folklore and Culture Studies at IGNOU, we have read too much of the works of Dr. Handoo, Satyanath sir, and of course Dr. Ramanujan. So I now handing over to you, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much, Rusha. Namaskar, everyone. Professor Satyanath, my regards to you. Namaskar, Professor Satyanath. I was listening to Professor Satyanath very carefully. He talked about create having a seminar or a conference titled "Remembering Handoo," and I completely support this idea. And when Professor Satyanath told just now that Professor Handoo had given a status to Indian folklore, and I agree with this completely. And Rusha, my student, she just introduced me. When Professor Satyanath was speaking, I just opened my computer and I did a control search, control F, to the study material MA Folk Literature, and I just came to know that the name Jawaharlal Handoo is quoted 72 times in the entire study material. So imagine the kind of impact Professor Handoo had on the students and the researchers of folklore. As far as my personal association with Professor Jawaharlal Handoo goes, it had been very long association, and in the year 2012, I conducted a national seminar in IGNOU on rethinking folklore, and then I had invited mm, speakers and scholars like Padmasri Manoj Das, he was the chief guest, and then you are Anantamurthy and K. Sachidanandan sir was there. And then that is when Professor Jawaharlal Handoo was recommended by someone, and that this person is doing good work on folklore, and that is when I read him bit carefully. Before that, I had just looked at his books and his works, but then I read very carefully in the year 2012. And then after that, Jawaharlal Nehru Handoo's books and his research papers and everything we have quoted in all our courses. And then Jawaharlal Handoo, he played a pioneering role in introducing theoretical frameworks and interdisciplinary methodology to Indian folklore research. Having said that, I would also remember one incident where during the second day of the seminar from English department, rethinking folklore, that was from English department, and I was the convener of the seminar, and all these big speakers were there. Then Jawaharlal Handoo sir, he spoke on the desk that literature departments, especially English departments, have no contribution to the preservation of folklore. He made a radical statement like that. And all my colleagues, the head of the department and all the professors of English and even Hindi, they were not very happy with that. Okay, there was a lot of debate and discourse, and there was a lot of agitation among the scholars and teachers. So it didn't lead to a very nice environment there. Like Professor Satyanath just now told that he fell out in his personal life with many people, but then that never affected his academic work, and also it never affected his relationship with me. At a much later stage, he included me as an advisory board member in the folklore research journal that he had maintained for a long time. Then a few years ago, he had a very meaningful conversation with me after MA folk literature was launched during COVID. I informed him that you knew about the PG diploma in folk literature, folklore studies, which Rusha is a student, and then later on we converted that to an MA program. I sent him the material. Then he made it a point to call me and have a detailed discussion with me. He said, "Young lady, earlier I used to take it lightly that there is this diploma course on folklore. Many people are doing, I thought, but after looking at near about 15-20,000 of pages of study material on folk literature, now I understand that you are serious about your engagement with folk literature." And even he told me that the future of folklore depends on scholars and enthusiasts like you. That is when I told him that I am guided, inspired by Professor Satyanath. He has always been a friend and a mentor to me. And we had a Professor Satyanath, you would be glad to know that we had a discussion about you when you talked about this scriptocentric, phonocentric, and body-centric approaches to folklore. And I told those things to Professor Handoo, and he was very glad. He said, "Fine. So after this MA program, what?" I said, "Maybe I will add some elective courses now. All the 10 courses are compulsory courses, and when I do the elective courses, I will invite you. Would you like to come?" Then he said, "I'm not keeping well." And then rest is history. Last few years he has not been keeping well. And I and Satyanath, we had a discussion about how he had a lot of issues and tensions in his personal life as well, which were very, very unfortunate, because we needed him, we needed his guidance, his research, and everything. And today, when all of us are sitting together and remembering Professor Jawaharlal Handoo, I would agree with Professor Satyanath that we can have a seminar or something, or even we can edit a journal or a book where we can give a special issue on Jawaharlal Handoo. And I am always here to help the young scholars sitting here. And when I introduce MA folk literature in Hindi University after IGNO, now I'm planning to introduce MA folk literature in Hindi University. I would certainly take a lot of research by Professor Handoo, and let us just contribute to that. Thank you so much. I feel honored to be a part of this. My prayers for the great soul of Professor Handoo, and my best wishes to all the scholars here, and my respect to Professor Satyanath. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the encouragement and good words. We'll definitely take up the suggestion by both of you. I request Professor Desmond Kharmawphlang, if he's there, kindly come, sir. Professor Desmond. Sir, you are mute, sir. Sir, you are mute.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening. Greetings from Shillong. Thank you for inviting me to join this meeting in which we remember and we recollect one of the greatest folklorists that this country has produced. I would like to share with you a few anecdotes about my experiences with Professor Handoo. It was in the year 1990 when I met him for the first time. I was then a young lecturer at a college, and I happened to be invited by somebody who had gone to a conference which was organized by the late Dr. Soman Sen at NEHU. So during that conference, I had the opportunity to share some of my thoughts on Khasi. Khasi refers to the community I belong. I had the opportunity to share some reflections and some thoughts on Khasi proverbs, something that was provided to me due to the absence of a speaker who was scheduled to speak, but he did not turn up, or I don't exactly recall what happened, but there was a slot that was available, and I thought that, it might be a good idea for me to share something. So that was the and of course, proverb was not really the theme of that particular uh, uh, seminar for that day. And when I started off by saying with a confession that actually what I'm about to speak on does not really resonate with the theme of the seminar, then Handoo, I still remember Handoo saying, then, you're a brave man to do so, because you are not really conforming to the broad parameters of the conference. But he gave me all the encouragement, and he introduced me to Claude Levi-Straussian, um, methodology of analyzing proverbs. So that was the first encounter which I had with this great man, and we kept in touch. Then he was in charge of the folklore unit at CIL, and we wrote, we exchanged letters. Then there was no email, at least in India, so we exchanged letters and so on. And it was, I think, in the year 2000 when I was given charge of Ford Foundation projects by my university, that is the Northeastern Hill University at Shillong, that I was required to form two committees, the advisory and the steering committees. And immediately I thought of Professor Handoo as one of the members of the advisory committee, and therefore, in that capacity, rather, the project provided us with the opportunity of meeting very, very frequently, at least twice a year. He had a very strong connection with Northeast India. He had a very strong affinity as well, with the ethnic communities inhabiting this part of the country. And due to um, due to his connection with the project that I was supervising at that point of time, he became closer to the people that I had on board as part of the project. This was the year 2000. The project continued for a couple of years, and I was also at that point of time contemplating, formulating some sort of an academic program that could be offered at NEHU, at Northeastern Hill University, something like a PG diploma program. He said, why do you, he told me, you should think bigger, why go for a PG diploma? Go for a full-fledged master's program in folklore. And so working together, we were able to formulate a program which happily I was able to introduce into our university. We now have a full-fledged master's program in folkloristics with PhD, and this was one of the gigantic efforts that Handoo made, to the program. He was also instrumental in getting me to join the ISFNR, and I remember that it was with his encouragement that I attended the ISFNR, which was held in Athens, in Greece, and it was there that I made a bid to have the interim conference of the ISFNR in 2011 in Shillong at NEHU. And again, perhaps through his backdoor intercessions, that bid which I made in Athens also helped. So we were able to have the interim conference of the International Society for Folk Narrative Research at NEHU, Shillong, in 2011. Also, I was able to organize very successfully, I must say, 5 refresher courses, which was which was organized under the aegis of the Human Resource Development Cell of our university. And in all the 5 refresher courses, Professor Handoo was one of the main resource persons. So that was the kind of connection that he had with my university. And I think he kept coming to Shillong every other year. And he always took the opportunity to visit also other parts of Northeast. And therefore, this is really quite a blow to folkloristics, to folklore studies in India, because some time back we lost Professor Birendranath Datta, who who gave that very vital academic thrust to folklore studies in Assam. We also lost last year Professor Surjit Singh, who was a pal of Handoo, and both of them also made several visits to my university on my invitation. So it is with much fondness that I remember this fighter of folklore. I always look upon him as a crusader, as a fighter. He was a warrior because he never ever apologized for folklore. He was never an apologist for folklore. He believed, I think till his last breath, that folklore was a very important discourse that we ought to take up seriously in in the academic realm, and believing in it fervently. I have seen him at least on 2 occasions having verbal duels, having verbal fights with people who are trying to denigrate folklore. So it is with this very graphic train of memories that I have about this great man that I've joined this meeting. Of course, we had our fights. We were not, always. We did not always see eye to eye on many things. We fought, but we also had great respect for each other's perspectives. So he was that kind of a person. There was a time when we did not speak to each other for months, but when we met, I think at a conference which was organized by the Karnataka government. I think it was part of Fossils. It was organized at the Karnataka Bhavan in New Delhi, that we sort of reconciled, and we talked through the night, and we shared fond memories, and of course we shared drinks, because he liked his bottle. He liked his whiskey, and it fueled him, whenever folklore was because folklore was always on his lips. He could never talk about anything else apart from the weather, probably. So he was that kind of a dedicated person for whom I have tremendous respect and tremendous admiration. And in his loss, we really have a lot to grieve about. The idea about having a fresh script, the idea about having a commemorative volume would be a wonderful tribute to this great man. And I would I would be very, very happy to be associated with that work. I would be happy to facilitate you know that project, if it is in terms of publication, or even if it's a seminar that we would perhaps eventually agree upon to have to commemorate this great personality. I would be very happy to do my bit. So with these few words, I thank the organizer again for providing me with this opportunity.
Thank you,
Thank
Professor.
Thank you very much. Now, we will move to Dr. Semontee Mitra, Assistant Teaching Professor of English and American Studies at Penn State University Park, USA. We have Dr. Mitra with us. Handing over to him.
Oh, hi. Thank you. Um, Thank you, everyone, for having me here. Um, I don't know, for some reason, I can hear my voice repeated after me. So, uh, personally, I did not get an opportunity to see Dr. Handoo or meet him or even be in his classes, but I definitely have heard, I have read about him. I wouldn't say I have read about him a lot because my research, the direction of my research was a little bit different and more focused on diaspora, on the religious festivals of how Indian Americans celebrate their religious festivals, how different traditions and rituals are a part of it. But recently, I have been working on a book chapter edited by Dr. Simon Bronner. It is on World of Traditions, and my chapter is on South Asian folklore. So there, been I've been doing a lot of research, and I read how much he contributed, how much pioneering efforts he has made to the field of folklore, especially in South Asia, particularly in India. And his impact, his efforts have been tremendous, which uh, losing a person, losing a scholar, a stalwart like him is a tremendous, tremendous loss, not only at a personal level, but in the scholarship in the field of folklore, because the knowledge, the interpretation, the overall impact such a stalwart can bring to the field is just amazing. So losing a person like that is really very, very unfortunate for all of us. He is also a part of our editorial board of the journal called Cultural Analysis. I happen to be one of the editors there. He has been very helpful with that aspect when he was very active, but lately. Whenever we emailed him or we had our board meetings, he wasn't there. We never really knew why or what was going on with him. But the time when he was active, he did look at different articles that we sent him. He provided us with his very knowledgeable comments on those, and he was very, very impactful in those respects. So I consider to be a little unfortunate to not be in direct influence of a person like him. But still, it is wonderful to have him in the field of folklore who has added so much and took our Indian folklore to the global, to the international platform and made a big name out of it because now everybody knows about Indian folklore, talks about Indian folklore, and he has a lot to contribute to that. So thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Now we will be moving forward to Professor Seema Malik. Professor Seema Malik is a former professor and head of the Department of English at Mohanlal Sukhadiya University, Udaipur. Handing over to Professor Malik.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sabhi ko namaskar. And thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this meet. It goes without saying that Professor Handoo is a prominent presence in folklore studies. However, it's a great loss for all of us, and I extend my deepest condolence. It is indeed a great loss for the academia, for the folklore studies, and I think though I haven't met him even once, but ever since I was initiated into folklore studies and I'm working on a project on folklore, I'm speaking from Udaipur, Rajasthan, and in the interior of the southernmost part of Rajasthan, there is a region called Wagadi. So I'm working on that, on the oral narratives and oral songs of that area. So ever since I was initiated in folklore studies, I have been reading, and unfortunately, I never had an opportunity to meet him, of course. And I think our genuine tribute to Professor Handoo would be to emulate his dedication and passion for folklore studies. And by carrying forward his work in this area, in the true spirit, the way he was dedicatedly working towards it, I think that would be the best that we could do. And of course, the idea that has been, suggested by my previous speakers, that we can have a conference, a seminar, or we can at least have a book in memory of Professor Handoo. That would be a great idea. And whatever little I'll be able to do, I will definitely be happy to contribute towards it. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we will be moving forward to Dr. Suman Preet Virk. She has joined us here. Dr. Suman Preet Virk is an associate professor, Department of Linguistics and Punjabi Lexicography, Punjabi University, Patiala, Punjab. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Actually, I'm at pain to know about the departure of Professor Handoo. I got very little time to meet him, but he used to inspire me a lot. I was in CL working as editor in CL on Punjabi as a second language material project when Dr. Kaul, who was very close to Dr. Handoo, he introduced me to Dr. Handoo, and we had an impression that Dr. Handoo is a person of words, and we used to get scared also a little bit, being student of PhD at that time, because I was doing PhD at JNU at that time, and the expression was so strong and the ideas were very clear, and it used to inspire for people like me, for the students. He was a source of inspiration. And once only I got an opportunity to visit his house, and I found the artifacts there in his house from all over, I think, India. And he used to point out onto each and everything, this belongs to this area. And it was a big, source of knowledge for me as a beginner, because that was a time when I was just studying. So it's all over, if I have to say, it's a big loss to the circles in folklore. So I think we must contribute in his memory in the form of conference or in the form of some publications, or holding some seminars in future. And thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity to express myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Surely we will try to organize a seminar or a kind of volume on the memory of Professor Handoo. Yeah. Now we will be requesting Dr. Ali to say something. Oh, Arunima ma'am is there. Arunima ma'am has joined. Dr. Arunima Das, Associate Professor, Gargi College, University of New Delhi. I request Arunima ma'am to say something in the memory of Professor Handoo.
Thank you. So, Professor Kharmawphlang, sir. So he has already mentioned few things that I remember. So there were IFC conferences where we had an opportunity. At that time, I was a young scholar. I just joined I just joined my research. So we met couple of times in 3-4 II, Indian Folklore Congress, and we had great time spending 3-4 days together and discussing. At that time, we had a lot of queries, and we used to approach him, and he always used to welcome us. And I always the day when I got to know about Handoo sir's demise, that day I wrote in my page that he was the one who taught me in the very beginning of my career. He told that, Arunima, listen, when you start working in any area, you always remember one thing, that research is something which is not about grand ideas, but about major truths hidden in the smallest particle. So that is something which I always remember from that very day. And then that was the day when I started thinking about the research part. So this was something I always remember from Handoo sir's words. Apart from that, his words, everybody has said about his work. So this is something that today I remember at this moment. So at last, I said he will definitely rest in power, giving power to all of us to work more in this discipline. This is something that I wanted to forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Arunima ma'am. Now the session is open. I request everyone, whoever want to say something about commemorating Professor Handoo and his contributions to the world of folklore and culture studies, please may come forward and take part. Intaj sir, are you here?
Okay.
Yeah, I request you to say something.
If no one is there to say anything, then maybe I can come up for 2-3 minutes, because already we have listened so many advices from our advisory board and other faculty members from all over the world. We are so sad also, in the sense like Anusar is no more with us. But did she get a legacy for
Yes,
everyone?
there are many. And just all your voices reverberating because so many
Okay,
voices.
okay, you can hear me, right?
Sir,
Can hear
your
you,
voice is
but
not clear. It
reverberate.
is stammering.
Okay,
And
okay. Maybe it's
now
a
it is
network
clear.
issue.
Now clear. Now
Okay,
clear.
so I have to shout for some time. But anyway, thank you for pointing out that you cannot listen to me. See, I don't have also any connection with Jawaharlal Handoo sir, because I'm very younger person. Maybe now I'm middle space. But when I started my career as a researcher in comparative literature department, but mostly I have done my degree, MPhil and PhD from comparative department, but I worked on folklore, and I don't have any degree on folklore also. But most of the training that I got from folklore folk culture department, University of Hyderabad, Jolly sir is there with me here, and Jolly sir is always supported me from the student life.
And not only Jolly sir, the other faculty members of the center is always with me. I just sit in the classes basically, and I got a little bit training from them, but I don't take any certificate from them. But I just sat in the classes. And thank you, Jolly sir, for allowing me to sit all of your classes. I don't know how much I have learned, but personally, I have no connection with Jolly sir, but I have read some of his books and some of his articles, and he's a true leader in that sense. Like, it's not about writing books, it's not about writing articles, but he made the discipline not only in India but a global level, I think. So such kind of inspiration we took from him. We don't know personally. We never met in any conference and all, or any workshop, or any of the places. But sometimes you take inspiration uh, by reading their books, by reading their leadership. So it's not that physically always we met or not, but Gunnar sir is not here. Desmond sir is here. I never met Desmond sir as well. Even uh, I met Satyanath sir many times in University of Hyderabad, in our center so many times. So from that time, maybe he don't remember me, but still I have seen him. I have listened to his lecture. But the particular thing is that the discipline called folklore, uh, because most of the people who used to work like Folklore Congress happened maybe 43 years or 47 years. It's a long history, but finding the history in one place is very difficult. And that systematic pattern of archiving, keeping the things in a space, that was not there earlier. So by the help of all of you, we are trying our best to make the discipline visible, not only in India but in a global level. Simon Brunner sir also helped us very much, because whenever we used to invite him, another, everyone, even nobody is rejecting our no, invitation. That is the reality, that we are trying our best to make it the discipline visible. And this kind of suggestion you have made, definitely we'll take it up either by collaboration, or if there is no collaboration at all, we'll do it by ourselves. But we try, like, to make a team in the sense, we'll bring all the folklore discipline, all the departments all over India, not only India but other institutes all over the globe. If they wanted to associate it with us, we can have a bigger plan and make it a grand conference. And out of the conference, we can have a volume as per your suggestion, as you have made. We always believe that if we have interest, we can do it. Either we have money or not, but still we can do it. But it depends on the teamwork. It depends on the support by different people. And one more thing that is very much important, I don't know that you have mentioned it or not, but we need to collect all the papers, all the books that he has written, and we should share with people, like, what are the work he has done. If there is no Wikipedia page by sir, like Handoo sir, we can make his Wikipedia page, because that should be there. We should collect his papers, we should collect his books, either digitally or physically, so that we can, people after 10 years, people after 50 years can get back to his work and his contribution. So not only that, but it can be stored in one place, either digitally or physical resource. So for that, see, most of the books maybe it's not with us, but our team can make a bibliography of his work and put it in any of the sites. And if there is no Wikipedia page, we can do it. But we ask for collaboration of making the event a bigger one, because we love folklore. It's, as I said in the beginning, it's not about writing books and articles, but it is about culture. It's our own heritage, and we live within it. Our community live within it. That is also very important aspect of folklore. So, and it is also interdisciplinary. Even you see, Nandini ma'am is from English department. I'm also, my basic discipline is English. Uh, Even Satyanath sir is from Indian Languages and Comparative Department, but we have some connection of this interdisciplinary aspect of it. So we'll take forward your suggestion, and definitely we'll send our plan to all of you, our members, our advisors, our executive members, and the council members. This is the pattern that we follow, and it's not about one people's work, and we believe in the spirit of teamwork, and we are very communicative. It's not like like others and all. We try to communicate with people, we try to involve people, and this way we're trying our best. But Handoo sir work is really a leadership work that will carry forward it. Thank you very much for joining with us, and hopefully we'll take your guidance and make it successful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Imtiaz. Thank you all the professors who have joined, Professor Desmond, Professor Nandini Sahu, Professor Satyanath, and Suman Preet,
Dr. Jolie.
Arunima. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hello, Dr. Jolie.
Yeah.
Could I just very briefly take this opportunity to share something?
Yeah, tell me, sir.
Very briefly. I think it would be this would be the most appropriate platform to share with you, the news that the Academic Council of NEHU, the Academic Council of Northeastern Hill University, the university that I'm working in, has approved the FYUP, that is the 4-year undergraduate program syllabus in folklore.
Oh, that's good.
So we are looking at a reality of about something like 80 colleges in our state, in the state of Meghalaya, who will be introducing folklore at the undergraduate level. So this is something that would have really made Handoo also very, very happy.
Yes. So nice news, sir. And definitely, as Imtiaz have already told, we will be definitely taking it up, a commemorative series. And there is a Wikipedia page. Yeah.
Sir, this is Arunima. I would like to know one more thing. Where is our Indian Folklore Congress, sir? We need it back.
That was with a small group of people now, because I have never gone to Indian Folklore Congress. I was always part of the forces. I never got a chance, but many of my seniors, many of my friends have been there, but I'm not. Even you were there, so I'm not sure about the status of it. And it was in the later state when Handoo was not well. It was very difficult for them to organize. He was sick
To
and all.
sustain, yes.
Sustain. But within this, the possibilities, exploring the possibility, as Imtiaz rightly put it, there is no composite compendium of collections of his more than 50 articles and something around 18 books. So it's a possibility to collect it, elaborate the Wikipedia, etc., etc., etc. And also, Professor Satyanath has said, we will have a commemorative conference. And Nandini Madam has already informed us that there is always a possibility of contributing an article in a forthcoming volume of Muse or something like that. So there are quite a lot of possibilities. We will discuss and definitely take it up. And one cannot forget the human service of Handoo. And so nice to hear the news from Desmond sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Kublai, thank you.
Satyanath, sir,
Thank you.
you want to say something? Satyanath.
This is just a continuation. If we want to revive, IFC, to the best of my knowledge, was not officially registered. So, if we have to revive it, I think we should get together once, either on the web or, in a conference, and should talk about that. The reason why IFS did not take place after 2018 is because the funding that he was getting from the CIIL actually shrunk. In fact, the law in the last one, he said the money didn't come, so I cannot have anything. So it is the shrinking money situation that actually prevented the IFC continuing. And secondly, he was also losing his so after I said I had made it a principle to go to that conference, irrespective of the conference, whether the money is there or not. I would put the money from my purse and would go. But the last one, it never took place because the money didn't come. I sent an abstract, but he didn't. And after that, he totally remained inaccessible. Many of my attempts to contact here, first of all, he went away from the Facebook. That was one, and he did not answer there was also a personal tragedy at that particular point of time in his life. I don't know how he negotiated that. My friends at CL would say, "TK, he's normal. We had met him. He stopped responding to emails and the social media, message. So, we don't know what happened after 2018, and COVID also, the question of, I went to Mysore again, almost after 6 years, and that was, I have more opportunities to go because there is some official, I go there in some official capacity, but I couldn't meet. So I think, we need to get together to talk about this. And if we can continue that, that would be one way of remembering Professor Handoo.
Semontee ma'am, do you want to say something? Semontee
Yes,
also.
I want to piggyback on the idea that was floated around having a book as to celebrate Dr. Handoo's work. Along with the book, if we are open to the idea of having a special issue with the journal, our journal Cultural Analysis is open to it. It is an open access journal. Dr. Handoo was one of our executive board members. So we would be happy, although I'm speaking for myself, but I will talk to my colleagues, other editors, and I think we all should be happy to have a special edition, special volume, just for Dr. Handoo and his work and his memories. So this is just a suggestion. I'm floating it out. We can talk about it more, and I can send you the details of Cultural Analysis. You can have a look at it. This is our 25th year. We are working with Penn State University and the University of California, Berkeley. We are also associated with CF, or they are our European kind of counterparts there. So I can send the details and just think about it. If we are all interested, then I can definitely put a word with our other editors, and we can go from there.
Thank you so much.
Uh, just two, three reaction by taking off your suggestion. One is Desmond sir talked about that another undergraduate level and folklore course. Even from our university, like from Netaji Subhas Bose University, we have introduced one paper on folklore. And in that paper, we have around 196 colleges in our network. So in 196 colleges, people will read more than 300 people, or maybe more than that, each semester, 300 people, 300 learners. So in this way, we can, scale the discipline. People get introduced what is folklore, right? So Desmond's intention of introducing folklore as an undergraduate level. Even Nandini ma'am also introduced MA Folklore in IGNOU. So there also many people get chance to do a degree. Second one is the funding issue that you're talking about. Sir, I think uh, uh, you should not worry about the funding. We'll take it from different sources. Sources in the sense like there are many agencies now people used to fund. So we'll try our best to get some funds. So what we need your support and concern. Maybe we can bring more people, more agencies in the sense more institute. Let's make a club together. And the third one, Semontee ma'am is talking about the cultural analysis. I know that journal, but one thing we should keep in mind, like we should not be jump together for one work. We should stepwise we can do the work, and we should have a one by one, like one issue from cultural analysis, one conference and volume. We should collect stepwise, like short term, long term, mid term. Otherwise, if we do it together, what will happen? We'll not get papers. Like for conference, we'll not get papers. Yeah, for example, one by one. Volume and his work and his books that we can collect and we should share with people. And we have members from all the cities, like maybe Delhi, Mumbai, wherever it is. We have members. If S Satyanath has some book with him, some article, we can send people to him. If Jolly sir has some books or articles of Handoo sir, we can send people there. Because of the network that we have built, we can send people all over India and we can collect his books, collect his articles. We can scan it and we keep it stored and we can share with people. So that is the idea that we can do it. And thank you for your suggestion. And it will be great that if cultural analysis, which is very reputed journal, if that could be materialized, it is really grateful for all of us. And it will be, it will reach to the global audience and his contribution. Thank you.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And we need more folklorists and more scholarly work from India to be at the global platform, because we are, although there's great work happening in India, but we don't get to read about it in the Western world so much. So the more we can publish, the better it is. So yeah, absolutely. And happy to help anytime. Thank you.
So if you don't have any suggestion, I request our Assistant Secretary Rusha Bose to give vote of thanks or final comments if you have anything to share.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Uh, Thank you very much, everyone, all the stalwarts of folklore and culture studies present here, for putting a bit of time from their very busy schedule and to commemorate the life and works of our very dear and pioneer Professor Handoo. I didn't formally requested Nandini ma'am or Satyanath sir, but I have shared them in WhatsApp, but they have joined and I am truly overwhelmed. Thank you very much, everyone, for being with us. And your suggestions will be kept in mind, and we will surely do something like, as Intaj sir already said, conference and edited volumes. So thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rusha.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.